Hi guys, we're at Goodwood Festival of Speed 2024 on the BMW UK stand, and we are here for the world premiere of the G90 M5.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Goodwood and watching at home or at work, welcome to the all-new 7th generation BMW M5. So Frank, what an exciting moment, a chapter for the M5. I know that there are lots of firsts with this car. You've got blistering performance, new technology. You are the man to ask. Please talk us through it.
So how much time do we have?
I've got all the time in the world for this.
Okay, then we'll just start with the top level, because for us when we started doing this car, it was all about, we called it duality untamed. So it was the combination of adrenaline fueled driving dynamics combined with sophisticated all-day drivability. And it sounds a little bit weird, but actually it's possible, and the car shows that it's possible. And if you take a look at the car, which is actually quite difficult right now because of a lot of people standing around it, but if you would have the opportunity to have a look at the front end, you would obviously see the wide stands, because this is the first time that we have an M5 that is wider in the front and in the rear. It's about 75 millimeters in the front, 48 millimeters in the rear. So you see this very strong stance. You also see a very big air intake in the front, which actually we do need because, as Charles already said, we have 727 horsepower, 1000 newton meters, and that comes from the combination of the V8 and an electric drivetrain. Actually, we wanted to keep the V8 engine that was so famous from the last generation, but we also combined it with a very nice electric drive with up to 200 horsepower. And you can drive up to 43 miles, I think it is, in the UK, 69 kilometers in pure electric mode with speeds up to 140 kilometers per hour. That's 87 miles per hour, I think. So that's what you can do. So it's the beauty and the beast in one. And you can see it also design-wise. If you look at the car, it's very strong. It's got very clear design language, big surfaces for the nice colors that we put on the car. This is frozen or matte frozen dark gray. Actually, very nice color. And it's not only the drivetrain that is so special. It's also the chassis and everything underneath that you can't see, because we put a lot of effort in the chassis itself. So we have an active integral steering for the first time to get more agility at lower speeds, but also more stability at top speeds, because the top speed of this car, the optional one, is 305 kilometers per hour. It's quite fast.
190.
How much is that?
190.
About 190 miles per hour. So it's quite fast. I'm not sure if you should do it on the M1 here in the UK, but you can do it in Germany, and also on the racetrack, of course. So we put a lot of effort in that as well. And also on the interior, we've got new comfort seats that come as a standard, new steering wheel, and there are so many options for the car, the colors, the interior, the stitching, so you can individualize this car as well. So I think this is, for me, it's not only the newest one, but also the most emotional one right now.
And when can we start to see it on UK roads?
Well, actually, we already started producing the car, but it takes a while to produce enough cars for the whole world, so it will be launched in November. So that's the date you will see the car on the streets then.
And for M fans like me, are you able to sling it around and have some fun with it?
Oh, you do. Because everyone that has already driven the last generation M5 has noticed that the V8 is such a subtle engine that has power in no matter where you are, but in combination with the electric drivetrain, it's even more seamless. So the driving feel is even one notch higher than it was with the last generation. So it's really, really great to drive.
Well, I cannot wait to get behind the wheel. And how do you and the rest of the M team feel about this car and how it slots into all the heritage?
Well, it's because it's the seventh generation. Actually, it's been almost 40 years of M5, and actually the M5 was the first big series number car that we did, where we put chassis and drivetrain from race cars actually in series production cars. So it was more or less the first real M that started the whole history of M. I mean, we sold a couple of thousand units, and last year we sold more than 200,000 units, so you can see where we came from. And it all started with the M5, so it's a very special car for us. But also to come out with a new car, it's like the birth of a baby, a little bit, because you put so much emotion, energy, passion into that project. And then is finally it's time when it comes out, and yeah, you just feel very emotional about it, and you can't wait to see it on the streets, and you can't wait to get the feedback once people have the opportunity to drive it and experience for themselves what this car really stands for.
Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely to hear your knowledge and said with such passion. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank van Meel.
Thank you.
So it has been very special as well to share the stage with Daniela Schmidt and also his...
So that's a world premiere of the G90 M5. The one downstairs is finished in frozen black and it looks super aggressive. Thanks to BMW UK, we have had access to the platform and they have a speed yellow one here. So my initial impressions of the car is I think it's an evolution of the previous designs. It's got a lot of the E60 in there, the F10, and I think it's not a revolution in design that we've seen maybe on the M3, but it is a continuation of the genetics from the other models. I like it. I think the design is actually really cohesive, very angular. To me, if you ask me to describe it, I'd say it's an angular E60 M5. I can get a lot of those vibes from it. But I like the fact that the design has got a bit more cohesive with the swage lines, so it's running all the way down the car. And on the M3 it was like in 3 bits. And although the door handles are not in the swage line, they're just set at the same distance. The rear of the car is super aggressive. This looks like an aftermarket diffuser, but this is how the car comes from the factory if you don't opt for the M Ultimate Pack, which is basically the M Performance carbon kit. The exhaust tailpipes are large, but they're actually lost on the rear of the car because it's so chunky. But overall, I really like the design of the car, and everyone is talking about the weight. It is 2.5 tons, which is very heavy, but the people I've spoken to who have driven it said you don't actually feel the weight of the car, so I'll reserve my judgment until I get behind the wheel. I haven't seen the front of this car as it's sticking out of the stand, but we'll get a few shots of it afterwards. But it looks very familiar. We had the i5 from BMW Park Lane, and it's very much the same nature, just more aggressive. This is actually the first slightly wide-bodied M5. Most of them are the same body shape as the normal 5 Series, but this one has flared arches at the front and at the rear, which gives it a very distinctive look. It's something that we wished the BMW would have done on all the previous M5s, and they've actually delivered on this one. But I really like the front end of this car, very much, again, E60 M5 vibes, just very angular, very muscular, and very aggressive. Sitting inside the car, it's a very familiar place to be. Again, it's an evolution of design rather than a revolution. We've seen this same big screen in the G81 M3 and the G87 M2. It feels premium, as it should do for an M5, and I really like this detail here, which I believe was also on the i5 that we borrowed from BMW Park Lane. But overall, the interior is what we would expect from an M5, and I believe they are going to offer individual interior options for the first time from March 2025 onwards. So I look forward to speccing our Touring, which will be a fully individual car. The last thing to mention about the M5 is the powertrain. So this produces 727 horsepower from a petrol engine and a hybrid powertrain. The engine is an evolution from the F90's S63. It is a S68 and it's the same powertrain that is in the XM. We have ordered one of these from BMW Park Lane and it should be delivered in December or January, and we can't wait to get started on it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. If you want to join the conversation, please drop us a comment below and we will do our best to respond to you. And if you're running out of things to watch, why don't you watch one of these two?